Okay, everyone, welcome to the New York Wrap, and thank you very much, Iris, for helping me out. I was just trying to check some things out on here. This is the new software we're using now. Well, we're using Zoom, or we're using GoToWebinar. There's some advantage to this one. It's actually easier and less memory intensive, which GoToWebinar is. But there's some other things I want to try and get used to. Yeah, I guess that's an option there. Let me see, Alt A, 10, okay. So just trying to get used to, the screen share. But anyway, once again, I wanted to go on and welcome you to the New York Wrap. It's a new webinar that we have here with ForexAnalytix. It's available, just to be clear, Monday through Thursday, because the primary reason for the New York Wrap, I've made the case is other people can see, like, yeah, I can see my charts. I already know where things wrapped up. It's really just a quick overview and to get ready if there's anything available report-wise, level-wise, in Asia. That's the primary, reason here. We can get a quick wrap and touch on a few things that move the market, and then find out what's moving in Asia. So I'll give you an example. So we say, okay, well, what's coming up in Asia? Let's see what happened today. And we see in Asia, we do see that we're going to have New Zealand retail sales coming out. Now that's at 5:45 Central Standard Time, 6:45 Eastern, okay? And then we have construction report for Australian construction at 9:30 Eastern Time. Obviously, my time zone is set on Central. Okay, so that's really, the gist of what we're trying to do, although the webinar will evolve. Be a very short webinar. Like I said, it's just that, a wrap to go and say, what happened here? Someone comes back from the desk and say, what the heck just happened? Well, okay, just a quick wrap on that. And oh, by the way, we have Australian employment, which we don't, but I'm just saying, example. Oh, by the way, we do have Australian employment report. And you can see right here, and obviously it's not, but Australian construction. Here's what we're looking here after the move today. We're looking at levels here or there. That's primarily the gist of it. But just want, like I said, the show will evolve, okay, as we go along. And primarily it's going to be on FX, okay. So that's what I primarily focus on myself. There might be at times we could take a look at, where S&Ps are. They're pretty much dead in the water right now. But the big news driver obviously was the cable. And we did see here, and I'll just go and touch off on that. Just give me a second here. So it says, one last chance to get Brexit done, says PM. Theresa May has told MPs they have one last chance to deliver Brexit as she sets out a new Brexit deal. MPs will get a vote on whether to hold another referendum if they back the EU withdrawal agreement bill. She said the bill also contains a new guarantee on workers' rights, environmental protections, Irish backstop, as well as a customs compromise. If MPs reject the bill, she warned them a negotiated exit would be dead in the water and Brexit could be stopped. MPs have rejected the withdrawal agreement negotiated with the EU 3 times. In what is seen as the last roll of the dice, Ms. May is now bringing the withdrawal agreement bill, legislation required to bring the agreement into UK law, to Parliament in early June. Common Ground, in a speech, the London Prime Minister said the deadlock over Brexit was having a corrosive impact on British politics and stopping progress in other areas. We're making a new offer to find common ground in Parliament, she said. That is the only way to deliver Brexit. Okay, that's all we want to touch on that, but we want to look at what was the impacts on this. So looking here with cable, we had mentioned, if you were here with us on the European crossover webinar, which is available to members. Hang on one second. And it's broadcast at 4 a.m. Eastern time, but Stelios records it and makes it available before the New York Open in the chat room. And then the show's later available, but much later, and you might sometimes miss some of those opportunities. One of the things that we had focused on, which we had in our bias chart, we've been talking about, we went over this kind of yesterday quickly. We said, here's the basic technical analysis we had for the week. Blake updates out throughout the week. I'll touch base again, maybe like on Wednesday. But it says cable continues its relentless fall, finishing this week on its lows. A value level comes in at 27. Considering how oversold the market currently is, beyond this 25.90 to 78%. Well, we did push our bias chart a little bit lower, our support, in case we did dip. But here's that value level I was talking about. And we really took up and ran with this thing on this whole thing, but we pretty much laid an egg here since then. So we already come down here. Some of the guys, I think Ollie, really, I think he said he made his quarter. On he had been long. We're looking for long opportunities here in the cable. But one thing about the chat room here in ForexAnalytix, like I said, you've got all kinds of traders. I mean, as far as all types of approaches, styles, everybody's always willing to go in and share what they're looking at. So, like I said, it's very supportive. And then as we made that run up, some were able to go in and jump out. I wasn't actually. I've been sick, so I was at the urgent care. So by the time I got back, I made the joke that the last of the champagne was being drank after by the time I got back, but couldn't help that. I've been sick and think I'm on the road to recovery now after I got two types of antibiotics. But anyway, that being said, let's go on and move on. So we did see the cable make a run, and here's that key level at 28.25. Came up a little bit short. Looks like we made it up to about 28.12. But here's the key resistance here. This is on the daily. We also saw the euro rebound, but it's quickly laid a big dud too. This is pretty key when you look here on the cash dollar index. We took a dip here in the cash dollar, and I'll be doggone if we didn't reclaim 98. That's key, because not only did we defend 97.89, that key major weekly level, and we'll take a look at that quickly. Like I said, it's just a recap that we do here. Here's that key weekly level that the market had difficulty with it, lost it, and has regained it. And now we took a dip back. We could have easily started to slide back. And look, we've quickly jumped right back. Dollar index is still in full control. That 97.89, which is a key level on the weekly also. Look at this. Huge. Also happens to confluence with the daily. Confluence with the big fib, 97.89, the 61% of 88.29 to 103.83. So this dollar is, after having a chance to step back, it's reasserting itself, and it looks like it's going to finish the day in pretty good shape here. Another market that we were looking at, we mentioned yesterday, the dollar yen. We actually mentioned it on Friday. I kept saying, hey, look, be careful. Don't let this market close. If you're short, don't let this market get above 995. I'm telling you right now, and we were talking about that actually on Thursday. And I said, hey, look, this thing closes above 995. This thing's going to move, and it's going to move to 1062 with a pause at 1031, which is we closed on Friday. I think it was at 10:05. So once again, we reiterate that dollar yen closed the week above 995. The market is open for a challenge of 1062/80 with a pause at 1031, which is a 38%. Support comes in at 970. Well, where the heck do you think they went? Well, they went right the heck to that 1031. Took it out by 1 pip, and then we turned around and slid back and reasserted ourselves. So we came up here. Here's what we were looking for. We kept warning about this on Thursday. We got that close on Friday, and where do we go? Right up here, went to 1032. So we took out our initial target by 1 pip, did back down, didn't quite make it to 970. We got as low as 981. And then the next target we have is 1062/80. But when you look at this dollar yen, don't jump too quick to sell this thing. Let's take a look here. It can actually get up to around 1089. You look right here. You see here? And I always go with the touches. So here's 1092 right here. And we actually would fill this little gap here, 1105. We'll see what happens. It's got a lot of momentum behind it, so there's no use trying to jump out ahead of it. But certainly the momentum, the exponential moving averages had changed things around. Getting back to the Australian dollar, and we do have, as I said, some New Zealand data due out. Let's go on and take a look at that real quick. And this is primarily the focus of the show. Is really a wrap up, a quick wrap. See what happened to be moving. In this case, it was a cable, okay? And then we get ready for the Asian session. Okay, here's reports: retail sales, New Zealand, Aussie dollar, construction work, construction report. So we're coming into the Kiwi, and you can see here we have right in here. Let's pull this back. We're looking here on the daily. We have this little zone. They finally took that out, the 65.17, and there's a good little value zone here between 64.96, 65.17. Let's see what happens here. The Kiwi, to a certain extent, has held up better than the Aussie. But this is what we'll be looking at as we come into those retail sales and see how they play out. Let's take a look here. Oh, the prior was 1.7% on retail sales. So we will see how this one, I'm not showing an estimate at this time. And let's see, on Aussie construction, last month down minus 3.1. May see a little bit of a bounce back. Certainly the Aussie is susceptible to a little bit of a pop back. So you'll be looking at the 64.96. So the key would be is if they dip below that, if they can try and reclaim this. We're spit away from it, but that's where you'd be looking, because if not, I mean, there's a potential to 64.71. But to me, the key would be to reclaim the 64.96. Maybe find the market a little bit sold out. Anyway, let's go on and move into the cross rates. And I know Blake got long. I think he talked about that. He got long the guppy, and holy smokes, what a run this thing had. I was up for the European crossover webinar, but I've been trying to get as much extra sleep as I can, being sick. So I'm doggone, I missed some good moves. But boy, what a run this thing had. We did have some resistance here, but you can see where they came up. You see this level? We got these little touches coming right across here. We're actually looking at the 2-hour chart here. So push this back in here. Right in there. Came up just shy of it a little bit. And I didn't get a chance to focus on the cable. But one of the things that, I'll look at the 2-hour for my longer term play, but I'll work with the 30-minute for the exponential moving average. But when you're looking here, these moves happen so quickly, you have to adapt to what the market's willing to go on and give you, okay? So one of the things that I've started to do now is I've actually started even looking in here in the 15-minute, and you can see here in the 15-minute, you had a nice hanging man. And once again, I like to go with the body touches. So the resistance right here, as long as the market doesn't close above that close right here, which is 140.140. And when I say close on a 15-minute basis, you can get short and stay that way. And certainly we've had a pretty good dip on the downside. Look, I don't even generally use the 15-minute chart, but you got to adapt to whatever the market's willing to give you. And you see a lot of these moves don't last for very long. Obviously, over the cable, we had a big move. I mean, based on with Theresa May, I can show you here on the cable. Same setup, a hanging man right here. But we did have some very good reactions here. Looking here on the Aussie yen, we'll continue to move up a little bit higher. One of the things that they did focus on was saying that they had lightened up a little bit on the issues with Hawaii. Let me take a look here. And that offered a little bit. Let me take a look here. Says the United States temporarily eased the trade restrictions on Chinese away to minimize disruption for its customers, a move which boosted Asian equities and helped the offshore Chinese yuan from its weakest level since November. That might give this, and especially the one that probably the most impact is going to be the Aussie yen. So we can still move up a little bit higher in here. If we're looking into the bias chart, Aussie yen, we just got above that. That's before everything. We had lightning in a bottle earlier this morning, but 76.04, we just got above it. And after we made this move, but here's this upper zone here. If they want to make this move, which would make the most sense, because look, it would just barely take out the highs. You got a nice touch coming in here, which would be 76.42, basically 76.43. Not that far ahead, really, too. An additional 30 pips. So if you're looking for this to squeeze a little bit higher, that'll be a good target. There's going to be that 76.43. You can see my voice is now starting to, fade a little bit here. And the euro also, certainly it made its run here. We talked about that. Let's go and take a quick look at the euro Aussie before we wrap things up, as the show is duly called. Be wary of this one. We already had a, let's switch this to the daily. We talked about this. We came up here that we were looking for 62 and potentially here at the 61%. We got up there on Friday. We took a dip, went back down to this trend line. The market had the opportunity to rally back up. Hang on a moment. Locate my mouse and probably fall back here. But we saw the Aussie come under some pressure. So we jumped right back. Be careful on this one here. I think it is susceptible to breaking lower. Ultimately, I would have thought we would have come back here, maybe moved up right to about here, then take another dip, and then break down to about, as I mentioned, like in the 60 and a quarter, maybe barely touch 60, and then come back, and then maybe we flounder around. Look, the Aussie's open to maybe move up a little bit higher, so we'll see what happens here. But it's certainly a little bit susceptible. You may see something close to, and we're looking at the daily chart for the Aussie. And one of the things that we did talk about in the bias chart analysis was, it says here, the chasm between the exponential moving averages and the 27 is exceptionally wide, suggesting the market is susceptible to a decent pullback. And generally, you don't see this. You can see we get these biases. This one was wildly wide. Look at this one. And look what ended up happening. You obviously saw a pullback. Well, you're seeing a pretty good wide disparity now between these two. So and after the move that we had, I think it's certainly susceptible. We could fall back into this place and at least come down to about 60.39. Just be cognizant of that. But that's about all that we have now. I will go on and switch back. Hang on one second and show you the same thing here. On the cable. So you want to use these big levels. I mean, we talked about 28.25, and the market made it up to what? 28.12. It came pretty close. I mean, we backed down. But like I said, you saw a pretty good solid bar. Lots of times I like to use the 30-minute, once again for the exponential moving averages, but you're not seeing anything. But once again, with the way these markets are, you have to be able to adapt. What is the market reacting to? And lately it seems to be reacting more closely in a lot of these moves is to the 15-minute. And you can see here, same thing we saw with the guppy. Look at this. You get here, same thing, a hanging man right here after the solid bar. That bar that closed right here, run this across, we never closed above that, never closed above it on the 15-minute bar here. And look, and yet, like I said, looking here, nice hanging man, and since then it's been south of the border. But anyway, that's all that we've got now. Just want to go and do the quick wrap up, and thanks for joining us. And once again, the show is Monday through Thursday because it's really a wrap as we get ahead of Asia. Obviously, it's no Asia on a Friday. Also, the show is this week will pretty much peak close at around 2 Eastern, but one of the gals in the chat room was just making the cases was, heck, we could have wrapped this thing a long time ago. And lately, FX has quieted down and wrapped it up a lot earlier, well over an hour before this show, as things have just gotten very, very, very quiet. So depending on circumstances, this show may be a little bit earlier. I'll be posted in the chat room to let them know. You can always watch it on a recording, but I'll be posting on the chat room to let them know when I'm gonna getting ready to post that. Do the show live. And see if there was one more thing to go mention. Obviously, like I said, days like on FOMC day, obviously the show would be later to take into consideration, action of play. And you can see this cable is still moving lower, euro still, and look at this dollar. Boy, man, if this dollar can even close above this, it's just going to be huge after getting knocked back. It could have slipped back easily. And here goes that buck reasserting itself. But once again, thanks for joining us here on the New York Wrap, and we'll see you tomorrow.